Hello, hello, hello. It is Adrienne, Capricorntigress of astrology.com. And you know what? It is already Thursday here in Seattle, but it is still Wednesday night in Alaska, and it's still Wednesday night in Hawaii. And so it's still Wednesday night live. That's the way I look at it. Okay, so I'm late again. It's not the first time I've been late. Okay, it's not the first time that I've been late. So, yeah, yeah. But I'm here, and I'm really excited that I'm here, and I've got a lot I want to talk about. So we're gonna go ahead and discuss that. Don't you hate when Google wants to do something and you're in the middle of a live show? Like it wanted to give me extra security. That's all great, but not at this moment, right? So, okay, I've got a lot to talk about. And it's so funny. I've been saying this all day that I feel the fire. Like I just felt like there was fire about. And of course, the sun is at 6 degrees of Leo. That's fire sign. And now we've got the moon at 11 degrees of Aries, and that's a fire sign. But Chiron's at 12 degrees of Aries, retrograding. So in essence, the moon and the sun in Aries are conjunct right now. Why I chose this exact moment to go live when it sits right on my progressed ascendant. So maybe it's, I'm not going to let any of the negativity hit me, okay? Whatever that is. Or maybe it gave me the fire to come and do this. Because I'm going to tell you guys, I've been a sloth. I mean, I just haven't done anything. I've been sleeping. I went and sniffed on some soap earlier just to make sure I didn't have COVID. I couldn't really smell it that great. But then I smelled something else. Like I put on perfume and I actually smelled the perfume. So I thought, okay, I don't think I have COVID. So I managed to get dressed, put on my makeup, come out here and do a very, 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 very late Wednesday night lives, which is technically Thursday everywhere except for Hawaii and Alaska. So, but I'm here. And so that's what I felt. I felt that. Now, the funny thing is that Mars is at 29 degrees of Leo. I have my Mars at 24 degrees of Leo, or 26 degrees of Leo, but I have had no energy over this past week. So as Mars went over my Mars, I had no energy. And I think it's because Jupiter is at 29 degrees of Aquarius. So Jupiter and Mars have been opposed to each other, and it's going toward an exact opposition because Jupiter's retrograding. And that's in my first house, like right on the precipice of the first and second house cusp. And which means that, this Mars has been on the precipice of my seventh and eighth house cusp. I'm not saying I felt like I was dying or anything, but I certainly have not been at my best. And you can tell when you're not at your best because you know that you have to sleep. There are so many projects and people that I'm supposed to either interview, or they want to interview me, or they've got master classes or courses or things that I'm supposed to be involved in. I felt like I'm being pulled in all these directions. And literally this week, I just shut down. Like I shut down everything. I literally closed down one of my credit cards for good. Like I'm not, it's a long story, but I shut down everything because I'm being pulled in so many directions that I was forgetting what the pertinent direction was in the first place, and not really making any money either because of the, when you get too busy, you're not able to focus. So I'm putting all my focus back on what I really want to have my focus on, which is I love doing the readings. I love doing the healings. I love coming and doing the YouTube. I love doing my blog posts. I actually don't mind Facebooking. I don't, but I really need to focus on the part of it that says you're a business and you have to make money. That part. Now, mind you, this whole 29-degree thing you know, going from like 30 degrees or 1 degree to 29 degrees. This has all been happening, like I said, between the precipice of my first and seventh and second and eighth. So I've been feeling all this responsibility and all this issues about me not making enough money and feeling like what's wrong with me? Like if literally the money or lack thereof that I am accumulating got tied into my worth, my self-worth. And that is so this opposition of having Mars at the precipice of your seventh and eighth house, and Jupiter at the precipice of your first and second house. So, and it's amazing how much we do tie our self-worth, our self-confidence, our self-esteem into what we're able to generate in value. You know, they talk about the energetic exchange, and I've been talking about that. Like, if I give something back. Like, what's the energetic exchange of that? And so I really been looking at this all week. Like, how am I going to create this energetic exchange? Because I give and I give and I give, and I make these videos all the time in the podcast and out doing all the free readings, and I realized I've got to balance this so I don't deplete myself and go absolutely insane. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So if you see changes, if you see me doing things differently, you know, I don't know. I just know that there are changes afoot. And maybe this is what this Jupiter retrograding back out of Pisces, going back into Aquarius is all about. After all, Saturn is also retrograding in Aquarius. And Aquarius is known as the maverick sign of the zodiac. It is the inventor of this, the mad scientist, if you will, of the zodiac. So maybe we're all being asked to go back and reinvent ourselves, reinvent our ideas, our ideals, our dreams, our aspirations, because don't forget, Aquarius rules dreams, goals, aspirations. It is the fantasy dream that we have in the back of our mind. And I don't know about you, but I know I've got a fantasy dream in the back of my mind. I was just a part of a masterclass. It was limitless income. It was wonderful. But it really made me get in touch with the fact that I have this goal. I have goals for myself financially, and it's okay to have those. And I really believe, depending on where this opposition is falling in your chart, it might be bringing that stuff up for you. And I know it brought it up for me. So anyway, I wanted to just go over that because it's a pretty rare opposition to have Mars in Leo opposing Jupiter in Aquarius. Exactly. Very rare. First of all, Jupiter is only in a sign every 12 years. So this is a very rare occurrence. I would just want you guys to understand what we're going through right now. Also, I just want to note that Venus is actually square the sun. I just realized that, you know, how it'll play out, I don't know, but it's usually friction. It's usually tense activity. Could be some arguments, disagreements. It's the sun. And then it's Venus. Now, Venus is usually beneficial, you know, it's a benefit. But, oh, wait a minute. That's Virgo. I'm so sorry. It's not a square. It's Virgo. So we're fine. Okay. I had to check and make sure, but it's Virgo. So we're okay. Okay. Thank God. In fact, that Virgo Venus is not too far from making a trine with Uranus, which is now going direct at 14 degrees of Taurus. We're fine. I was looking at that and thinking it was Scorpio, but Venus is in Virgo. So we're okay. We're okay. That would have been an ugly square, and nobody wants anything remotely like that. Okay, so we're okay. Oh, now I will say this though: the Venus at 8 degrees of Virgo, it is square the North Node, which is at 8 degrees of Gemini. It's a lot lighter than dealing with the Sun in Leo, but it is a square. So, know, the North Node's always retrograding. It just may be that something's coming up, something lesson, something we're supposed to learn. Don't forget both Gemini and Virgo are Mercury ruled. So it probably has something to do with communication. It could be writing, it could be calls, it could be something like that, but it's something to do with communication. That's where the friction might come in over the next few days. Okay, so I wanted to let you guys know that. Okay, let's see. We still have Saturn retrograding at 10 degrees of Aquarius, and that's exactly sextile the moon at 11 degrees of Aries right now, which is kind of nice. You know, that's a good reprieve. Also, Saturn is trying that North Node in Gemini still. They're both retrograding, but still within the range of being a trine. So that's great. Let's see, anything else here? Like I said, that sextile to the moon's good. I just don't like the fact that Saturn is pretty much about to oppose the sun. I'm sorry, I don't like it. And I just don't like it because Saturn's on my Saturn, so I'm not liking it. I don't like that the sun has opposed my Saturn in my first house. I'm not feeling it. And maybe that's why I've not had any energy. And although it's still, you know, about 4 degrees apart, I mean, it's still the fact that it's happening. So just deal with that. Depending on where your Saturn, you know, the Saturn in Aquarius is falling in your chart, just know it's going to be opposing the sun. Like exactly. Within the next day or 2, maybe 3, somewhere in there. And we'll feel that. Maybe, I mean, I know where this is happening in my chart, and I'm not happy because I've got my progressed Mars in Leo. Okay. And it's my 7th house. And I've been feeling like my self-worth and whatnot has been affected. And I've been trying to deal with the whole so what attitude about it all. Like, oh, people don't like me, you know, so what? I'm not getting support, you know, so what? The whole so what? But I can't keep doing that when the reality is my 7th house has been activated. So that, you know, when the 7th house is activated, that's either going to come out in a couple of ways. You're either going to get new business partnerships, new partnerships like marriage, a new steady, someone serious, or you're going to get, your enemies are going to show up. I mean, you might not know you had those enemies, but they'll appear. So I've been looking at all these things like, oh, please let me get through this period without any problem. Nobody wants progressed Mars opposed their natal Saturn in the 1st house. I mean, come on. And then it's being activated right now. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. Yeah, and we've got Neptune is retrograding still and Pluto is retrograding still. So we've got Jupiter retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Pluto retrograde, Chiron retrograde in the North Node retrograde, and I'm done. I mean, everything's retrograde. Just forget it. You know, it's all about reinventing ourselves right now. Like redo it, refocus, reinvent, revisit. Just read it all. Read it all. I mean, these are slow moving planets. Read for goodness sakes. Read. I know I'm going to recreate a way. I'm going to revisit how I'm going to be able to bring in more income. My whole focus right now is right on the cusp of that 29-degree opposition. So weird that that is happening because my focus is on how to turn all my connections into my financial windfall. I've got access to lots of people and I should be in a lot better place financially than I am. So I'm looking at all those options and all those wonderful professionals that want to help me along the way to that financial independence. So you guys, it's been my pleasure to do where the planets are, because that's what we just did, where the planets are. And